Some critics argue that it may be time to seriously consider the 25th Amendment, citing what they describe as signs of cognitive and physical decline in Donald Trump. They contend this goes beyond cosmetic issues or superficial commentary. In their view, it raises deeper concerns about stability and decision-making at the highest level of government. According to these critics, unpredictable late-night policy announcements, escalating rhetoric on tariffs, and heightened international tensions contribute to a broader sense of uncertainty. They argue that such behavior fuels public anxiety and creates the perception of instability during a volatile global moment. Those concerns intensified following a recent speech in which Trump appeared, to some observers, to struggle at points and end the event in a way that left viewers confused. Online reactions reflected that confusion, with many questioning what they had just watched. Before examining the full speech, it's worth focusing on one particularly unusual moment. When Trump abruptly shifted mid-remarks to address the crowd in a way that critics say seemed disjointed and unclear.
It's so crazy. You know, the mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now, and I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell? You're not going to help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? No, right behind you, look. My friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay? Good. Good. Are your eyes okay? I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay.
The liberal account headquarters responded to this very weird diatribe from Trump by writing, "Is distraction a symptom of dementia?" Google responded, "Yes. Increased distractibility is a common symptom of dementia, including Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia." First of all, it wasn't even clear what point he was trying to make about Zoran Mamdani and the snow removal story in New York. From what was mentioned, it sounded like an effort to pay people around $40 an hour to help clear snow, which doesn't seem unreasonable on its face. So it was confusing why that example was brought up or what criticism was being implied. Was it meant as an attack on someone trying to keep the city running during a storm? The connection just wasn't clear. Then there was the strange moment where he abruptly said, "I paid for your eyes," while the crowd sat mostly silent. It didn't land as a joke, and it didn't seem connected to the broader remarks. Viewers were left wondering whether it was meant to be humorous, sarcastic, or something else entirely. The exchange felt disjointed. Critics argue that moments like this reinforce concerns about focus and clarity. Throughout the day, Trump had been posting angrily about tariffs, and that frustration appeared to carry into the speech. By the time he began revisiting grievances about the 2020 election, the delivery seemed increasingly scattered, culminating in an ending that many described as confused and abrupt.
How I won, I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election, too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig. But they cheated like hell. They can't win on policy. Men and women's sports. We have a new one, though. Voter ID. I think that's as crazy as they won't approve voter ID. They won't approve proof of citizenship. They won't approve no mail-in ballots, even though they know it's crooked as hell. Where the ballots are sent to, in many cases, Democrats. Republicans don't get theirs, and they're calling frantically to get their ballot. A Democrat will get 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 ballots. And then we're supposed to win. That's what they're good at. They're professional cheaters. But we wouldn't be here right now. I'm just thinking as we're going through it, because we've suffered through it together.
At times, it almost sounds as though the numbers and claims just blur together. jumping from one figure to another without context or consistency. Critics argue that recent speeches have felt scattered, with abrupt shifts between topics and repeated claims about elections that lack clarity. Some viewers say that if you read a transcript closely, it can be difficult to follow the logic or structure of what's being said. What frustrates those critics even more is how the coverage often frames it. Headlines tend to summarize the speech in broad, neutral terms. For example, saying Trump addressed election security or a snowstorm, without engaging deeply with how the remarks were delivered or whether they raised concerns about coherence. For people who believe there are signs of cognitive decline, this feels like the central issue. They argue that if a president's mental fitness is in question, it deserves serious, transparent discussion rather than surface-level reporting. That concern was amplified when Trump appeared to end the speech abruptly and walk off in a way that left some viewers confused, prompting widespread reaction online. Journalist Aaron Rupar, who shared the clip, described it as Trump just wandering away. The liberal account Call to Activism shared the clip as well, saying, "A clip is going viral this morning of Donald Trump wandering away toward the end of his event at the White House. He clutches the podium for support and oddly walks towards a locked door as everyone awkwardly remains seated. Donald Trump is not well." The sound cuts out in that clip, but you can clearly tell that everyone is a little like, do we stand? Do we not? Like, should we? What do we do? There has never been an event filled to the brim with Trump sycophants as this event was, like all of them are this morning, in which there is not a thunderous applause for the dear leader at the end. Clap it up for Trump. Got to love the dear leader. Oh, what a fantastic man. Give him a salute, play a song, throw some flowers. We gotta love Donald. And he just walks away and everyone's like, he just gets up, goes and just walks out. Just nothing. He is unwell. Let's be real about this. He is deeply unwell. And it's not just the fact that he's doing weird stuff, like you can see it physically. Again, we saw people chiming in about his hands. Journalist Aaron Rupar, once again commenting on Trump's sickness, shared this photo of his hand looking nasty today, writing, "It doesn't get enough attention that there is clearly something seriously wrong with the president's health and the White House is covering it up. The White House is covering it up." I think we have heard that refrain, more than a couple of times, maybe once or twice, that the White House is covering up. Judge Eileen Cannon, by the way, decided that Jack Smith and all the evidence that he has against Trump, yet she wants to seal that and prevent it from coming out. So, we get another cover up there. The Jack Smith files, we're covering those up. The Epstein files, we're covering those up. Trump's health files, we're covering those up. Remember the 3 months I think it felt like when we didn't know if it was a CAT scan or an MRI or Trump's brain was being examined or his heart, or they were doing a scan on his cankles and he just kept like blurting out different medical procedures and scans, and Carolyn Levitt had to pretend like he wasn't a dementia patient, letting us get a look into how bad his health was, and it was just like, oh, the mainstream media is the lamestream media is getting upset about this. There is something deeply wrong here, and if we are not hair on fire about it, we will get no answers. That will be the result. We will know nothing about how broken the president of the United States brain is, and they are just going to continue chucking along. Donald Trump is more deranged than ever. He is more disconnected from reality than ever. Republicans are trying to play along with it, but he is also going to be more erratic. And a man who wants a standing military across the United States that only serves him to make sure that people can't vote, and who would love a conflict to undertake maybe before his State of the Union tomorrow, or just to carry out the rest of this term. So maybe he can continue to consolidate power. That person being more erratic, I would say, is something that we need to worry about. Again, as Donald Trump, a man who has stated that he thinks the presidency is keeping him alive, seems quite worried about his health going into a midterms in which his polling only gets worse and worse and worse, historically worse. Which is why I thought it was so important for Senator John Oath, running in a state that Donald Trump seems to love to attack the most, explaining why Donald Trump is attacking it. The racist reasons why, the political reasons why, as we now know, the health reasons why, and so much more in this clip right here.
Just consider that the sitting Attorney General of the United States and the sitting Director of the FBI refused to accept Trump's defeat in the 2020 election, an election Trump lost by 74 electoral college votes and 7 million popular votes. That's the widest margin of defeat in the popular vote since John McCain's in 2008. And since now they're wielding state power to rewrite history, we have to remind everyone that Trump didn't just lose Georgia. He lost Arizona, he lost Michigan, he lost Nevada, he lost Pennsylvania, he lost Wisconsin. And then tried to cling to power. Do you remember? Tried to intimidate Georgia officials to find him more votes. Find him more votes. Ginned up a mob that tried to hang the vice president. And still today obsesses over his shame. So he sent them to Fulton County to seize your ballots on a pack of lies. Now, why Fulton? Why Fulton? Well, in part for the same reason this president posts videos that depict the Obamas as apes. See, that the power of black voters ejected him from office may outrage him as much as defeat itself.
This is a serious moment for Democrats to get organized. Critics say there must be a clear plan to protect voting rights and prevent any abuse of power, especially with concerns around mail-in ballots, voter roll purges, and new voting requirements. Whether those fears prove justified or not, many believe strong leadership and a concrete strategy are urgently needed to safeguard future elections. Thanks for watching, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.